What up? What up? What up? Yes, sir. Yes, and yes, serious man, and all that goody goods. What's up, everybody? I'm excited. I'm excited. I was looking rough, so I had to just trim some stuff up. Just cut my hair. Like before, I had a George Jefferson rocking up in this piece, man. I gotta make sure I trim my hair every week. So listen, I'm gonna get to it because I have a limited amount of time this morning. And here is what it is and what it is and what it is. Uh, so it's the fourth quarter. At the time of this video, it's October. It's October. Um, what day is it today? It's October 19th. I mean, we're halfway through now. We're halfway through October right now, which is powerful. It's potent. And I am. I'm in this space right now of I have some activities coming up in this month and some next month, and I'm really focused in on uh, I'm focusing in on what next year is gonna look like. And at the same time, I'm looking at how the past year has been. Now, a couple things are coming up that I want to share here before we wrap up. Especially since this is the Heal Thy Man platform, I think it's important for men to be visionaries, planners, organizers, dream weavers, co-creators of a future. And a big part of that is being intentional. And I've noticed that the past couple years when I've done this, when I've taken the last quarter to really start to fine tune what's coming next, the following year I end up getting what I get or getting what I plan for. So I'll give you an example. 2020, and it started 2021. It all started actually when I failed to write my book. Uh, I remember I'm in this group called Men Mentoring Men. And I remember when we went into a meeting about the goals, I was disappointed with myself. I was like, "Damn, man, I failed to write the book, man. This is something that I really wanted to get done." And when that happened, I was distraught, man. I was disappointed. It was just a bad thing, and I knew that it was time for me to write the book. 2022 is a year, so I started looking at, well, what are the things I'm going to do to make sure I get this book done. This is when I created something called Dick Discipline, which is a semen retention and also energy creation and manifestation course. And I also started to really fine tune and create a structure for me to write the book. So like how often a day, like create a format of the book, the three different. So actually, I think I had four sections in the beginning. I don't even know. Yeah, I think it was four sections. But then I started whittling these things down. What I noticed as well, and actually, hold on. Yeah, put that light on. So one of the things I noticed is that when I set that up, like clockwork, I got into Dick Discipline. I finished the book. I got the book out by November 4th. So that was the major goal. Also, a goal was like I want to get back into full time work. I did that. Now, come 2022, I was like, okay, listen, like I'm gonna create programs based on the book. I'm gonna create online courses, and I'm also gonna get the ebook done for Heal Thy Man Method. Lo and behold, boom, bit, bow, I got that done. The ebook will be done in November. And I've created courses. I created blueprints. I created Step into the Arena. I created Connectus. I've got dry runs of all of them. So like I've laid these plans out. Now here comes fourth quarter for this year. What do I plan on doing? Well, I'm keeping that to myself. So here's I'm gonna give you some blueprints. I'm gonna give you the blueprints here. Something that you can do in this fourth quarter that will support you in taking the next step. Okay. So get your pens and papers out. Get your pens and papers. All right. So listen, I'm telling you guys to do that. I need to do that my damn self. Yeah, yeah. I need to get a block of pens up in this. Oh, here we go. I knew I had a pen around here. So listen, here's the scoop, right? For fourth quarter living, and this concept of fourth quarter living is far from mine. I first heard this from Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Bless up to you, E.T. Thank God it's Thursday. Thank God he had this thing. Thank God it's Monday. The dude is dynamic, man, dynamic cat. So here's the first step, right? The first step, and actually, I'm gonna put this here. Let's do this. This is exciting. I could do all this with StreamYard. Yard. All right. So here we go. Step one. What do you want? All right. So this is a key. This is an important one. Okay. First things first, before anything, is establishing what you want, and this is important because most people fail to even acknowledge what they want. It's very interesting actually. Especially being a coach, I recognize this as I would talk to, especially I work with men. I would recognize this talking to men. Like I say, okay, well, what do you want? Well, I blank. And then I would also hear like I don't want. And like, listen, while this is all fine and dandy, I want you to completely be aware that not wants are going to bring what you think you don't want, right? So like, I don't want to be unhappy. Okay, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be unhappy. And that's far from specific. What the heck does happy even mean, man? Like, this is where we start. This begins the process. This begins, okay, like your brain starting to bring forth these things, like, or tactics or methods for you to get closer to what you want. All right. So what I ask you to do is step one is like, write down what you want. Like, hey, like, what do I want this next year? You could do, now I've been doing, like, this year, I'm doing year, 3 year, 5 year. Bless up to my man, Frank Puker. He's the one that really got me to start looking at that years ago. Now I'm finally like getting what he's doing. I'm like, oh, right. Frank told me this 3 years ago. And so here's the thing, like, what do you want? All right. What do you want? So for me, like, I want to make a certain amount per year annually. For me, I also want to make sure that I have a certain amount of clients or mentees. I also want to make sure that I also want my courses to be out there. I also want to have the second phase of programming from the book, Master Your Mojo, complete and a run through. And I also want to build on what I'm doing with Step Into the Arena to get more mentees, individual mentees, and also group calls starting to go. So that's what I want. All right. So once you have what you want, now it's starting to vision and dream and manifest. So what does this look like? So this is sitting with self. Okay. So step two is sit with self and vision. What does that even mean? Well, I'm glad that you asked. When you sit with yourself, I've coined this. I'll be free to say I've coined it, but this is something that I came up with a couple years ago when I was doing hour-long meditations. And instead of saying it as a meditation, I called it sitting with self, because I would use these different mudras, and then I would do a video on like what the mudra represented. And I would write down like what happened during that 60 minutes. And I noticed that with me, one of the key things is that I was able to really settle into, my senses on what these things were that I wanted. So I'll give you a perfect example. I'm saying I want to make a certain amount next year. Me sitting with myself is starting to look at like, wow, like if I'm into the future and I'm dreamweaving this, I'm sitting with myself and I'm thinking, well, what's that going to be like? What does it look like in my bank account? What does it feel like as far as my stress level when I'm making a certain amount of money? I'm free. There's less stress about covering things. What does it look like, or what does it sound like when I'm making that certain amount of money? What do I sense and feel? I think you get the picture. When you're sitting with yourself, you're envisioning what it is that you want, right? And then what that experience is like for you in your body, in your constitution. This is the reason why. When you start to do these things, your brain is free of knowing what quote unquote reality. When you start to bring that in and start to bring that vision in, your brain is like, oh, this is real. And again, the energetics behind it will get you to start doing certain things, so that all of a sudden now you start going towards that end game. Okay? When you start doing that, now it's like, oh, junk, like that was real. Like I'm talking getting into it. Like what do you hear people say? What kind of clothes you wearing? What are you doing for a job? All these things, man. This is there for you. Okay? Now, the next step, step 3, write it down. Write it down, man. Write that piece down. Like whatever you want. Like I get this. I have in my room, I have my whiteboard up there because it's private. I have my whiteboard that says what I want to make for the rest of this year, what I want to make for 2024 along with goals, what I'm going to make for 2026, and then what I'm going to make for 2028. I got it in my room. I'm failing to show you because like it's mine, okay? It's important that you write this down, because while you have it up here, it creates another neural pathway and another stream of rooting this in by you writing it down. Even in your visioning, write down what you vision. Like, I saw somebody, I was wearing some fresh Air Jordans. I was wearing these fresh Johnson & Murphys. I was rocking this nice jacket. I heard people saying this. I was able to go see my son in Florida 17 times a year. I was all these things. Write it down, man. Write it down. Get a journal, okay? Or like the major goals, put it on a whiteboard. Put it out that piece, all right? Fresh. Nowsies, okay? Now what I want you to work with is, once you've done that, keep it to yourself. I'm going to say keep it to yourself and your King's Court. All right, and I'm going to leave it at this. What's the reason? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason being is listen, your goals and wants are your goals and wants. When you're telling everybody, and I know there's things that's like, yeah, speak out your goals. Yeah. Let me get there in a second. When you tell everybody, I'm going to do this and this and this and that and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. You lose steam. You're leaking. It's like a balloon with a slow leak. You're slowly taking energy out of it. Here's why. Because energy is real, peoples. And men, energy is real. People will poo-poo on your shit, being like, well, you only do this right now. How are you going to do that? While you may think like, I'm not paying attention to it, there's a part of you or parts of you that will use that as fuel to slow you down. Okay? That's what they do. And some people are unconscious. Some people will say stuff to you because they want you to be safe like them, which is fine. That means like there's a part of them that cares about you and wants you to be free of any kind of hurt or dis-ease. Bless up to you and thank you. Yet at the same time, if you have a vision, only you will be able to see that shit. Only you. Now here's the kicker, right? You do want accountability on this. So that's what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, if you've yet to know what the King's Court is, you can look it up online or go get Heal.Thy.Man Method. There's a chapter specifically on that. Get your King's Court. Your King's Court is a group of people. Man, it could be men and women, also invisible guides. Like you could check the invisible counselor technique with Napoleon Hill. But this is where you can start to look at shit, man. Like, hey, talk to your friends. Like, listen, I need in your King's Court. Listen, this is what I'm set out to do. I want you to hold me accountable. Now, if you're asking someone to hold you accountable, a key piece is, what are the ways you want them to hold you accountable? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. When I was with Men Mentoring Men, well, I'm still with them, but in that 2021 thing, I was like, look, man, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this book done. Chris, which is one of the guys in there that's written a book, I was like, look, I'm going to need to check in with you on this, this, and that. Cool, Paul, I got you. Also, like, hey, I got to go get a mentor guide on this. My man, Coach Michael Taylor. Paul, I got you. This is what you need. This is how much it's going to cost. Like, boom, boom, bang, bang. I was able to, he asked me questions. When do you want to get done? This is what it's going to look like. I had in mind, like, what's going to come next. And also, I'm going to tell you another thing. Another book is coming out 2024. I'm telling you right now, for Father's Day. Okay? For Father's Day. Bless up. So, here's where this comes, man. Like, you keep it to yourself and share with your King's Court. So it's a select few. It's probably gonna be like 5 people or less that are gonna know about this. So track this. These are the things that you want to take note of. Okay, this is fourth quarter living, man. Fourth quarter living, visioning, all that stuff that you want to start to really tap into. Because I'm telling you, when you can start doing this, what's gonna happen is, now you are going to start to pull these things forward. And trust in this, people. Trust in this. I'm talking to myself, by the way, while I'm saying this. Trust in this, because there's going to be some times you're going to think like, yo, this isn't happening. Then as you move forward and look back, you're like, oh, junk, that did happen. I did do that. And it's just like that. You'll be surprised, and I'm telling you, this happens. So listen, this is Paul. I gotta go get ready. I'm gonna get ready for work right nowish. Thank you for checking in. Like, comment, share. I was a little behind on getting the thumbnail and stuff, but I'll get that done at some point. So bless up to you. Thank you for showing up, and I appreciate you. To everybody, thank you for showing up, and like, comment, share, leave some comments, leave some things you do to help you get set and ready for the following year and step into your greatness. All right, this is Paul. I'm out. See you all on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Peace.